Hello, this is Brian. Today is Wednesday, January 8th, 2025, and I'm here parked on Calle de Vida Road, here at the entrance to Mission Trails Regional Park. And I think I'm going to do a very short hike today to get back up to Hill 787. Very short hike today. Already did a nice small hike in Tierra Santa, which is where we still are. And I did South Rueda Canyon. That video will probably be up before this one. Or this one will actually be shorter, so this one actually might be up before that video. So, right not that far from the Claremont Mesa Boulevard entrance to Mission Trails. It's called the Tierra Santa staging area. So that's where I'm parked. There's a little kiosk, and there's my hill. This is just going to be a short one today. I've come up this way once before back in 2023 when I hiked up this from down there, that's Alanis Canyon. We're at the head of Alanis Canyon, and I hiked up Alanis Canyon to get up there back in March of 2023. And in September of this year, I hiked this hill again down from the Deerfield Court staging area, which isn't really much of a park. It's near Jackson Drive, near the Jackson Drive staging area. So I'm gonna go hike up there first. It's just gonna be a quick shot today. Nothing big. Just beautiful scrub oak. I wonder if this is an Acuta or a Berbertifolia. Has a beautiful scrub oak. I don't think this is Dumosa, though it is found occasionally here in Tierra Santa. So let's see. I'm just going to do a quick short hike today. Like I said, nothing major. I'm going to climb up to that peak. Alright, well, I'll see you on the way up. This will be my third time on Hill 787. Now, if you notice my link to the Alanis Canyon to Hill 787, it'll say Hill 781 because I thought the topo map read Hill 781, but it's actually 787. So my first video from Alanis Canyon will say Hill 781. I mean, 6 feet is really not a huge difference, but I like to be as accurate as I can. So I'm going to go ahead and start working my way up, and this pretty short and sweet hike today. Alright, so I think the first time I did this, I think I branched off here, if I remember correctly. I'm wondering what happens if I follow this a little bit more. I'm just going to kind of scout it out and see. So like I said, this is going to be a pretty short one. So I did a relatively short hike, a couple miles, maybe a couple miles in South Rueda Canyon on my previous hike today. I just want to see what happens if I follow this here. See if I can still access the hill this way. Let's see. So my hill's up there, so it's pretty short, not a very huge elevation gain today. Looks like there's another trail branching off over here. Maybe that might be a possibility. Like I said, I'm just kind of scouting out a route right now to make it slightly different than the last couple times. So I'll just do the same thing over and over again. Okay, there's a kiosk up there. I think I see a service road leading up. Let me see. I might end up making a loop hike out of this too. A small loop hike. I've been doing a lot more loop hikes lately than just straight out and backs, because they're just more interesting. Any hike is interesting in my opinion, but let's see. I think that's the service road. I think I'm going to branch off and go left, go up left. So So I remember this road the first time I was here. This might be just the correct way to get there. That's the Quarry Trail. Interesting. Let me see this. Take this one because I should be able to get up to the hill. Should be able to get up there doing this trail here. Let me see. Let me try something a little different to make a little more of an adventure out of this. Instead of just doing the same stuff every time, the same way. I do like to return to certain places time after time, and because I love doing it so much. But if I'm going to the same peak, same mountain peak I've done several times where I've gone to the same peak, and I like to try to vary it up so it's different every time, so I can show you different ways of climbing the peaks. And you can see some different scenery along the way up and on the way down, like this Laurel sumac, Melisma laurina. Nice, beautiful specimen right here too. So let's see. This is Quarry Loop Trail South, and this is 2 Quarry Loops. So this must be a cutoff. I think I want to follow the longer path. I think. Let me see. This might actually entail a little bit more elevation gain. Maybe make this a little more challenging. I'm just going to follow this and see what happens, because I haven't taken this part of the Quarry Loop. I've been up towards the summit of Hill 787, and I think part of that is part of the Quarry Loop Trail, but I haven't gone around this way. I just want to see what I can find along this stretch here. I haven't been to this part along this path here, and I'm glad I'm taking it now. Beautiful Toyon sumac shrubland here. Lemonade berry or lemonade sumac, whatever you want to call it. Laurel sumac, and of course Toyon. There's a pretty tall Toyon here, pretty stately one. I think this is going to be an interesting one. Glad I was trying to cruise around parts of Terrasana to see whether I wanted to do a second hike today. Because I was done with my first hike by 12:30. I was only on trail for maybe about 2 hours and 20 minutes. Yeah, maybe about 2 hours and 10 minutes. So kind of was wanting to stretch my legs a little bit more, considering this week is my first outing in 2025, A, and B, I have to make up for last week. I had no videos last week, as you might have noticed, that I didn't upload anything last week. I didn't go hiking. Could have gone out January 1st or January 2nd, but I'm not going to go into details about it. I just wasn't in the right mind. And that was the first time in about 23 weeks that I didn't go hiking. First time in 23 weeks. Or was it 23 or 24? One of the two. I'd gone out for about 22 or 23 weeks straight without missing a hike. They varied from little ones to more moderate ones to more rigorous climbs. So I'm definitely glad I'm heading out today. It's very dry out here. When I first started in South Rueda Canyon, oh, my eyes were watering and my skin was just itching from A, eczema, B, extremely dry air mass with the Santa Ana winds blowing. It is just a little breezy out here. It's not super windy. It's actually a breeze. It's a nice breeze. At times it's warm, at times it's cool. It least the air is moving, because the sun is very warm today. It's probably in the low 70s, maybe. Probably about 72, maybe. Not very warm, but warmer than average for this time of year. This is an interesting trail. I think that's still Calle de Vida right there. So this should be an interesting hike. Like I said, I've been to this general area a few times, but not on this specific pathway, so, or at least on this portion of the pathway. So I think I'm going to loop around Hill 787. Eventually I'm going to have to find a way to ascend it so I can get to the peak. All right, I'm going to keep on moving, and I will keep you posted on my progress and what kind of interesting finds I shall encounter today. So as you're hiking along this, you will occasionally see, I'm just going to hike backwards, or hike back just a little bit. You might occasionally see some small junctions. Sometimes you'll see maybe these little use trails that come up from, probably from the residential areas, or from maybe other trails as little mini cutoffs. If you're doing the Quarry loop, stay on the wider trail. So far I haven't had to branch off from any junctions, so this should just stay on the little bit wider, more defined trail so you don't get turned around. So now we've been going on an extremely gentle downhill, and now we're starting a small climb here. Let's see. Yeah, this isn't bad either. This is pretty nice. I can see the big quarry operation down there, not that far from Mission Gorge Road. So here's another little cutoff right here, or a little game trail or something. We'll just stick to the better worn pathway that I'm using right now. Got a nice view of Coles Mountain. High point of this park. High point of the city limits of San Diego, for that matter. I can see lots of little game trails, probably from deer or small animals, deer or other wildlife hopping across the landscape. I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen deer here in Mission Trails. I don't know if it is found here. It might be, but I haven't seen it personally. I haven't seen deer here at Mission Trails, so I'm not sure about that. But you also have probably foxes and coyotes. You got foxes and coyotes, especially coyotes. Probably be more likely to come across those. There's a nice little scenic hillside. We're kind of circumventing Hill 787. It's kind of what I expected from the Quarry Loop Trail. I see a fence down there. I think that's probably the edge of the quarry property. So now we're starting to climb up. We're actually starting to ascend Hill 787 a bit right now. Okay, good. All right. I'm going to keep on climbing and see where this leads. Pretty sure this will lead near the summit, because I could have sworn what I hiked on the top was part of it, or at least one of the connectors. So we'll see. See up the hill. Some nice views towards Rancho Mission Canyon. And right there, that hillside. That's the northeastern portion of Rancho Mission Canyon. Done that a couple times. Very pleasurable place. So, working my way up this moderate incline. Nothing too insane. This is a very gently sloping hill. All right, I can see the summit area. It's up there. I can see where the little fence is that surrounds the vernal pool on the summit to keep people from messing around and ruining it. Obviously, with no rainfall, there's going to be no water in them. But that's where I think that's where the summit is. Again, just follow the more obvious, more established route. You'll be good to go. Looks like we're coming up to a junction here. Let's see. I wonder what's on that sign. I'm curious. Let's just take a look and see. Sounds like a government property sign. I guess just don't go down that way, because we're on established trail here. There's another trail junction there. I think that's my peak up there. I think we're approaching a junction. See what that is there. Let's go see what this says. Let's go see what that sign says. That was the only really awkward turn I've made so far. I think I'm still on the Quarry. See, if I go this way, I'm still on the Quarry loop. So I could have come along from that side. I could have come along here, but I took this other one instead. Okay, so let's go see. I'm just going to go up this way and see. There's Mission Gorge Road down there. Alright, let's see what happens. I keep ambling my way back up there. Alright, so we're coming up to a Mission Gorge viewpoint. The last time I went out on the 26th is when I did the climbers loop underneath Quarry Peak. Right there, I can actually see the climbers loop trail from here, etched in, and I can see the steep South Fortuna summit trail going up South Fortuna Mountain right there. And this is where my trail is going. Get to this fence, it's going to curve to the left, and it's going to go up this knoll here. I'm guessing this is probably going to be up in the summit area. Yeah, over. I get some pretty good views here, actually, to be honest. Had some pretty good views on Hill 787 as well. But let's go see. Keep heading up this way. And looks like we're going to be getting closer to the summit as we keep following the Quarry Loop Trail. Okay, botany time. Barely just left where I was standing before. Mojave yucca over here. Beautiful yucca scadigera. Right over here. Right on the side of the trail. So I'm making my way up this chalky colored dirt trail. Climbing up towards Hill 787. Alright. Figured I'd point that out as I continue the climb up to the hill. Alright, so I think I'm getting near the summit. Hill 787 again. Yep. Alright. Well, here we are. The summit area. Once again, it's my third time up here. Hill 787. Let's go look around for the high point real quickly. It's on this side here. Alright. Yeah, this is it. Hill 787. My third time up here. It's actually slightly higher over here. Here we go. Hill 787, folks. My third time up here. Second time in 4 months. Last time I was up here was September 2024 when I hiked up. A bit of a longer route that time. But this is it. Here's the vernal pool section. Right now there's no water in it, obviously, because there's no rain. There hasn't been any rain. But here's the vernal pool area. So very important. Stay out of here. Whatever you do, dry, whether it's dry or full of water, leave it alone. I remember the coast barrel cactus. That's up here too. Got some coast barrel cactus up here. So also watch where you're stepping. Make sure you don't step on them. I think the last time I came up here, I think I came from this trail here, if I remember correctly. So now I've pointed out views from this peak before, but some people, probably people who might be new to my channel or have never seen those videos, I'm going to do a viewfinder up here after I take my summit selfie. So I'm going to start by looking north. So that's north. And that's going over towards Hill 875, which is another one of the hills I visited last time I did Hill 787. Hill 875, which looks more like a flat ridge, but there's a very gentle high point there. There is some prominence to it. It just doesn't look apparent from here. That's Hill 875 over there. And then I can see way off in the haze, I can see Black Mountain of Rancho Penasquitos. So I'm swinging it a little more towards the northwest, and that's looking towards Tierra Santa, parts of Tierra Santa. I'm going to swing it more towards the west. Very hazy parts of Kearney Mesa, Claremont, and UTC, University Town Center, off in the distance there near La Jolla. So I'm going to go swing it around to more of the west again, and that's looking over towards Kearney Mesa and Claremont Mesa over there. So I'm going to go around these shrubs here and look at some more views. I look more towards the southwest, and there's the downtown portion of San Diego with Point Loma's Ridge in the haze in the back. So that's more towards the southwest. And that's looking towards San Diego Bay. And then going more towards the south right now, that's part of where Rancho Mission Canyon is. Rancho Mission Canyon open space is on part of that hill over there. I'm going to swing it to the southeast now, looking at San Miguel Mountain there on the left, between Chula Vista and Jamul, and then Otay Mountain behind it. And then I can see out by some of the distant peaks in Cleveland National Forest. Now, more to the southeast is Coles Mountain. Peak 1380 there in the center. Unnamed peak that has a viewpoint of Powell's Peak. Speaking of Powell's Peak, there it is. And then there's good old Quarry. I'm going to go around the summit so I can give you more views. And there's a big cleft of Mission Gorge. Father Junipero Serra cuts through the pass between Quarry and good old South Fortuna Mountain right there as we're looking east now. Looking east. And in the gap you can actually see in the background El Cajon Mountain way off there near Lakeside. And then you're looking at towards Fortuna Saddle in the foreground. But in the background I could see Iron Mountain and North Iron Mountain in Powell behind Fortuna Saddle. And then we're looking northeast now. And we're looking towards North Fortuna Mountain. And we'll swing it back to the north to close out the 360 panoramic view. Up here you do have to kind of walk around a little bit because of the tall shrubs. A little bit, but it's a very short walk on a small summit plateau, so it's worth it. So now, pointing in a little bit more locally, there's the Mission Trails Visitor Center right down there. That's the Visitor Center. And there's Mission Gorge Road. Cuts its way through the pass between Quarry and Powell's Peak. Now, I love that portion of Mission Gorge Road. It's a very scenic drive. It's a very scenic mountain pass between Powell's Peak and Quarry. It's a very beautiful drive. And the hike on Father Junipero Serra between Quarry and South Fortuna is also a very highly recommended hike if you can do it. You can also drive it when it's open. You can drive one side of it and walk the other side of it. You can drive it if it's open. So yeah, here we are back at the vernal pool here on top of Hill 787. So I was up here just less than 4 months ago, but it's a new year and I'm trying to think of some interesting hikes. I have a vacation coming up in a week and a half, and depending on the weather and depending on the fire hazards, I was hoping to maybe spend some time up near Los Angeles. Maybe, if the whole forest isn't closed, maybe even visit parts of the Angeles National Forest, the San Gabriel Mountains, and maybe some other LA area haunts that I would love to do. So let's see here. Fortuna Saddle West Trail. I think I'm gonna go. I think I came out from this way, so I'm gonna go try this way here. Yeah, I think I came up from that way. But yeah, I'm hoping. I do have some plans in the works for this year. One couple things. Maybe some Angeles National Forest, because I'm pretty sure there's not going to be any big snow issues. But there might be fire issues. There might be more Santa Ana winds coming in the next 2 weeks as well. So I have to keep my eyes on the forecast for that. But other things, I'm hoping to find, hopefully to get back to Corte Madera Mountain this year. However, with a twist. Now most people park at a hairpin turn and hike up the road to the Espinosa Trail, and then hike up the dirt road to a use trail to take you up Corte Madera. This time, and I've done that hike before. This time, I'm going to see if I can do it from the West Horse Thief Trailhead, which will make it a much different hike, much longer hike actually. So I'm hoping to maybe try the long way to Corte Madera Mountain, and maybe see if I can hit its satellite peak, Coulter Peak. I'm hoping I could do that. It's a 4,588 foot knoll near Corte Madera. I'm hoping this time I can find a cross-country route to get up there. So we'll see about that. We'll see how that works out. But from the regular Corte Madera hike is about 7 miles round trip. If you don't tack on the extra 4 miles round trip for Los Pinos Mountain. But I was planning on trying to park at the West Horse Thief Trailhead. I think it's on Lawson Valley Road. It's either on Lions Valley Road or Lawson Valley Road. It's one of those two. And then hike that way to get up to the Espinosa Trail, which the Espinosa Trail doesn't just stop at the road junction. You know, that road junction you reach when you do Corte Madera. It continues on the other side. So that's what I'm thinking. I can hit the Espinosa Trail from the west side, from the Horse Thief Canyon staging area, on I think it's Lawson Valley Road or Lions Valley Road, one of those two, and hoof it along that canyon, and approach from the west. I think it's from the west or something like that. Approach from the other side. Much longer hike. It's probably going to be at least 10 to 15 miles, if not more. So pick a cool day when there's not a big fire danger and see if that could be in the works. And hopefully this year I could finally get to hike Tecate Peak, or aka Cuchama, and hopefully hike Otay Mountain again when there's not a big fire danger. If you've been watching the news, there have been a lot of fires in LA County, so that means it could be anything going on. You gotta be careful. All right, so I'm leaving the peak, making my way down. I'm gonna head towards Calle de Vida, and we'll finish up this loop. See you down the way. All right, some spiny redberry action, some Rhamnus crocea. I like the interesting chalky color of the soil here. Yeah, here's more of that Rhamnus crocea. And some more Mojave yucca. I've been seeing a few more Mojave yuccas over here too. Right here on this little overlook. Wow, this one's got some pretty big leaves on it. That's a very beautiful Mojave yucca. We have a few native species of yuccas here in Southern California, two of which I've done spotlight videos highlighting. Mojave yucca is the first one, which I just pointed out right now. If you want to check that out. There's one species of yucca native to Southern California. Another species in the genus yucca is Yucca brevifolia, which is the Joshua tree. And I also have a spotlight video for that one, if interested in checking that one out. It's another species of yucca. And of course we also have the chaparral yucca, Hespero yucca whippley, which is related to yuccas, but actually might be more closely related to other species or other plants in the Asparagaceae, or asparagus family. I think that might be more closely related to other genera. Okay. So I guess I'm going to go follow this way. So I'm actually heading back. I'm on this Fortuna. This is Fortuna saddle, I believe, right here. This might end up actually linking up with Claremont Mesa Boulevard like I did the first time. I'm gonna see if I can get to that trail down there. Hopefully I can link my way back. Let's see if that works out. That breeze is nice and cool. There's beautiful North Fortuna Mountain right there. That is such a picturesque ridgeline. Been up there a couple times. Oh, let's talk about plans for hiking this year. Also thinking of trying to do the so-called, it's not official by Mission Trails anymore, but the 5 Peak Challenge. Do Coles, Piles, Quaipai, North Fortuna, and South Fortuna. But I was also going to try to do that. I was going to try to do that as a one-day outing, but with my own little twist. I was hoping to add Peak 1380 between Piles and Coles, and also add maybe Hill 781 to make it at least a 7 peak challenge. So we'll see how that happens, but I want it to be cooler. All right, see if I can find that trail down there. Okay, so you can see me branching off this unsigned trail here. I'm gonna see if this will lead me back to my car. I could always go to Claremont Mesa Boulevard, but I'm going to try this one here. I think this might have been the way I came the first time. Maybe. Let's see how this works out. That's the end of Claremont Mesa Boulevard right there. It's called the West Fortuna area, or as the sign says, the Tierra Santa entrance. Yeah. Each time I come out to Tierra Santa to hit these canyons and stuff like that, I end up really loving it. Tierra Santa is a very beautiful neighborhood. Pretty affluent. Very affluent looking. Way beyond my means, but had I the money, I probably would be happy, because I'd have so many little canyons to visit. And then when I want to go to the mountains, I'm really close to the 52. Ooh, a little Quercus dumosa, a little scrub oak right here on the side of the trail. Yeah. There's a nice bushy toyon right here. There's a beauty. Nice round domed toyon. So let's see where this leads. I'm thinking it's going to lead to Calle de Vida, but we'll see. I'll find out. I'll keep on pressing on. Yeah, so far, it's just taking me right back towards where I'm parked. See where Calle de Vida should be, just over there. It's actually a pretty popular bicycle trail. Lots of little mounds here. Here's another trail here. All right. Interesting. See if I see my footprints here. Definitely making a loop out of it today. An interesting loop. Very interesting loop, I have to say. So even if I go to the same mountain peaks or same hilltops or same canyons, if I could vary it up, I most certainly will make that attempt to vary it up. Hopefully make things even more interesting. So, should be back pretty soon. Alright, I'm just about to finish this one up. I'm just about back at the trailhead. Actually, here it is right here. There's my car right over there. And that's going to do it for another hike here at Mission Trails Regional Park. Quarry Loop to Hill 787. Hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed filming it and taking you along on my journey. Thanks for watching, and see you on my next hike.